So I'm kind of in a better spot than I was. You can hear it's still pretty ringy in here. I'm going to get some panels up on the walls today and do a little bit of SonarWorks as well. So I've got SonarWorks up on the computer. I've kind of started sort of rigging stuff together. So I've got my interface over here. So this is the Audient ID44, which I speak about a lot on the channel. I've got an Octopre Dynamic, one of the older ones, which kind of does well. The Universal Audio to Infinity, which is cool. Behringer headphone amp, because why not? Got the Kemper over here, and then a little patch bay. I've kind of realised with this Samson power thing, I'll show you in a minute, but I kind of realised that, like, I sort of thought that the idea was that you plug everything into one and then that just makes everything better, you know, no hums or anything like that. But I actually realised in this place, it wasn't necessarily the same previously. I can't fully remember, but it's definitely the case here, that is actually really noisy. Maybe it's just different room, I'm kind of hearing different things, but it's super noisy even when you just like turn it on. So have a listen. So that's really annoying. So I'm not using that anymore. I'm going to take that out of the rack and I'm going to use just like extensions and just make sure they're all on the same circuit so I'm not getting any weirdness. But I'm going to get some panels up after I've done the initial kind of phase of SonarWorks and see what it's kind of like, see what the room sounds like without anything up at all, and then see what it sounds like with some panels as well. I'm going to put one panel up here, which is kind of my mirror point for this monitor. It's going to be essentially above where that one is. Slight issue over here that I've got like a window. So I'm actually just going to use a couple of hooks and just kind of hang it on the top there, which I think is going to work okay. You can kind of see a better angle there with the monitor. Solar panels on the roof, that's a telly in front of it, that's not a solar panel, that's all like the battery packs and stuff, haven't quite figured that out yet. And then I'll get another panel up here as well, and then this bit of ugly space wall behind me, which is completely out of focus, brilliant, is going to be like all my shelving and stuff, which when my camera is set up for doing YouTube style bits, it's going to be there, so you're going to be able to see all the shelves behind me, and I'll hopefully light that quite nicely. So let's check out some SonarWorks. Now I realise I've got to do this in kind of a stupid way because all my mic stands are at the storage unit at the moment. So I've got on a lighting stand and kind of a funky little arm that goes off it. So essentially I'm putting this at like my listening position. So that's generally about where the centre of my head is going to be. You see that my speakers are over here. I'm probably going to have to move my speakers a little bit, but I'm just kind of getting prepared. And I'm going to run the SonarWorks test and see what it tells me. So what you're actually seeing here is me setting up SonarWorks and kind of going through the motions. So for those of you who don't know what SonarWorks is, then it's room measurement software which will tell you what the kind of frequency curve of your room is, because all rooms will sound different. And as you can see here, I'm kind of running around like a loon, putting microphones in different positions that SonarWorks is telling me to, and it's kind of measuring different areas of the room and telling me what my overall frequency response is. I've used SonarWorks for a number of years and it's a good kind of patch. It's a good kind of thing to put on top of stuff if your room isn't quite sounding right. And previously I had a number of panels up in the room, or actually I think in the previous test I just had one panel. So here's past Sam taking you through that. So that's one panel up. It's not quite straight, but I'm going to sort that out. Spirit level says it's straight, but the curtain pole says otherwise. Let's just pop it on some hooks, which is going to go over there because that's kind of my mirror point for that monitor. I may have to bring it across just a touch, but we'll see. And then the next job is to pop this panel up there and then get a couple more up. So I'm going to have my shelves there. I'll put one more small panel over here and one large panel on the back there, and then measure again and see how it sounds. As I said, and as I mentioned, there's going to be some more panels that went up and now they've gone up. So I've now got one on each mirror position and I've got one behind me as well. The annoying thing here is that I did SonarWorks before and I saw the curve, and I did it after and I've seen the curve. And let's take a look. So this is before treatment. You can see I've got that big old bump in the bottom end at like 8 dB, 150-ish hertz, and then some top end kind of amplification, which I think I was putting down to the fact that like there was no treatment on the room, on the walls, so it wasn't kind of soaking up that top end. So I thought it's all right, put some treatment up, that'll level it out. So that's before. This is kind of half treated. It's not finished, but this is half treated. Look at the difference. Barely anything. Brilliant. So that's before, and this is with a little bit more treatment. It's really not made a lot of difference. The left is this darker trace, and the right is the kind of lighter trace. There's a bit of asymmetry going on in my room, not a massive amount, but enough for it to look a little bit garbled like this. My speakers are actually further apart than they should be as well. I think it said there something like 140 odd centimeters away, and I'm like 96 centimeters away. So I either need to be further back, or they need to be further back, or they need to be closer together. And hopefully that's going to improve the symmetry a little bit, and the two will get a bit closer together, but I don't know. But yeah, one word is disappointed, because that could have been so easy, couldn't it? But treating a room, building a studio is always, it's a marathon, not a sprint, you know. It's made me realise that I've got a lot more work to do. And I've kind of got the room to a point where I can do video stuff, I can do general editing, I can do mixing to a point. I can do vocal recording. I had a vocal session here the other day. But in order to get everything the way I really want it, it's going to take some time. And that's kind of what I've realised. This house, this is really my forever home, really. Don't plan on moving, so I want to make it as good as possible. And although I've kind of semi-treated this room, I can hear, especially in the top end, especially in the S's, we've got the bathroom here, and then we've got another room through there, which will be the live room. I can hear the S's behind me. I can hear them kind of resonating behind me, which is so bizarre, but they're bouncing off like the screen and the wall here, which is completely untreated at the moment, and then pinging back there. And I can just hear those S's. It's not like a slap back. It's just that they're kind of sustaining back there. It's quite a strange experience. But I'm going to put some treatment in the corners and try and deal with some of that low end build up, because this is this is pretty extreme. And then I've got some stuff that I'm going to put on this back wall as well, just to make it look good, but then just to try and deal with some of that low end as well. So we'll see what happens. But I guess what I'm saying is, watch this space. I'm going to do a few more episodes on, you know, getting things up to scratch, and how I'm going to do all the cabling going through from the control room into the live room, how I'm going to treat the live room. That's going to be set up for bands, but then it's also going to be set up for people kind of filming podcasts and for me filming content and stuff. So bit of a multi-purpose room. So that's going to be quite interesting to actually see what goes on there. But yeah, I'll get there, I'm sure. Thanks for checking it out. And yeah, the next episode is going to be an interesting one, but it's going to be a little way in the future, because I've got a lot of work to do before I can get to the point where I can say, right, let's tell people what I've done and let's see an improvement. But until that time, yeah, keep watching the rest of the channel, and I'll see you soon. Take care.